The path that I follow is the fairy tradition of witchcraft, which is a particular lineage tradition that stems from the work of Victor and Cora Anderson. And I am a priest of the blue god, sometimes called Jhenah, who is the god of springtime and of free will and ecstasy. Why?
Well, the Morgan is my patron deity. She chose me. I can't say that I chose her. She kind of just showed up and was like, okay, we're doing this. For me, she is a goddess of battle. She is a goddess of sovereignty, but she can be the kick in the ass a lot of people need sometimes. She can also comfort you when you actually are doing the work and you're not avoiding it. She's a very powerful deity and a very multifaceted.
Well, I'd say the deity that brought me into this that always resonates strongly has been an aspect of the Morgana named Maka. Maka's what really got me doing this full time. You know, my first journeys into paganism as a skeptic, and so when people talked about the gods, I was like, oh, it's a psychological construct, yeah, sure, whatever, the gods. And she started coming and appearing more and more strongly, and really changed the course of my life. I was in the music business for quite a while. I was in the A&R department of Ford Records, and people started getting fired left and right, and I would just go to my spiritual practice and speak to the goddess, and all she would say to me is, you need to teach more. And I'd be like, I can't teach more, I want to do my own music, and I've got a new relationship, and I got this career going on, I'll run a once-a-month group. You need to teach more. And then finally I agree to it and say, okay, I will teach more, and then 3 days later I lose my job. And so when I go to check in and say, you know, how am I going to make a living and what am I going to do here, and, you know, goddess, please help me, she's like, you can teach more now. And so it totally changed the course of my life, and she's always kind of ever present. I'd say the goddess and god figures that actually came from today's class of Pantheon is I really view the greater divinity as a triple goddess, that's the fates, and the god is a lord of light and a lord of darkness, and they're ever present in my work.
I've learned about the Norse god Bragi, who is all about speech and poetry, and I like to think of Bragi as my patron deity only because I hope that his gift with words somehow is reflected in me so that I can help others as the words come out of me.
It's really hard to say. There are 5 goddesses that I've worked with for a very long time, and at different times in my work, different ones have come forward. But I feel like right now I've kind of spent a lot of time working with Ladiwith, who's the flower maiden, the owl in the Mabinogi, and she's been the focus of my work both within the sisterhood and also my academic work. I did my master's thesis about her, and but now moving into our Rhiannon phase. I'm going to be working on a book on Rhiannon specifically, so I'm kind of making a bit of a shift to the goddess of sovereignty. So that's who I would choose.
No, there isn't actually. It's like in my presentation this morning, I was talking about how we perceive our gods as a family, and that, you know, my order, or our order rather, is a family unit, and the gods are a part of that family. So whereas within my own physical human family groups, I'm not devoted to one individual. I'm not utterly 100% devoted to my partner. I have different relationships with different people, and that's how I perceive my relationship with the gods. We work within a pantheon, the gods of land, sea and sky in our tradition. And I wouldn't say that I'm devoted at all to one deity in particular, but rather I'm in service to all of them. They're my family.
I am a lover of many deities. I have an eclectic ancestral background, and I work with many spirits, Lilith and Hecate, and Sekhmet and Yemaya and Oshun and Madame Pele, and they are dear to my heart, and Simbi and Ogun, and they make my life richer, and I'm happy to be in the world with them.
Fantastic.
Well, I'm a druid. I'm a polytheist. Sometimes I'm a druid. Sometimes I call myself Celtic Reconstructionist. Sometimes I just call myself whatever. And I am a devotee of Mononon Maklir, the god of the sea, son of the sea, and pretty much follow that cult.
Diana, goddess of witches.
And why is that? Aside from the obvious.
I am, that's a good question. Probably most importantly, she's been the one constant in my life since I was a boy. And so I have a deep friendship with her, a deep connection, and even wrote a book and dedicated it to her. It's coming out now this spring. So I'm all about witchcraft and the promotion of witchcraft and the evolution of the craft.
Oh gosh, I work primarily with Bree and with the Morrigan, and then my patron deity is the Gaia.
I've always been working with Pan, and he's my fave. So that's always a good one for me. That's always my emergency backup, because I can't go too much into the Anderson Fairy stuff too much. People wouldn't understand.
Right.
I mean, or don't need to. But I say Pan. Pan is good enough. Everybody knows Pan. I'm wearing the horns. Really? Okay, there you go.
Yes, I do. It's Malek Taus. In the Anderson Fairy tradition, Malek Taus, the peacock lord of the Middle East, is the patron of initiation, and he has been my patron deity in the craft for 30 years at least.
You know, I get poked at by whatever is needed in the moment, and in the last 6 months, I have truthfully never had much connection to Neptune or Poseidon or Monanon or any of the ocean-related gods and goddesses, but they've all been poking at me in my dreams and coming up in meditations. So, I mean, the ocean, I love the ocean, but I've never had a connection to the gods or goddesses of the ocean. So when I start having dreams or meditations where images come up, then I start paying attention. When I start literally seeing out of the corner of my eye for a moment what looks to be, you know, a particular god or goddess, then I go, I guess I need to pay attention. So over the course of the next year, I'm probably going to be doing, thankfully I don't live far from the ocean at home, so I'm going to be spending time at the ocean and listening and trying to figure out. I've already ordered, you know, randomly, ordered a variety of statues because I don't know which gods or goddesses of the ocean are going to be calling my name. An altar, I've set up an altar that is my ocean altar, and I've never had an ocean altar. Often if I start setting up an altar, it means that I'm going to be doing something even if I don't know what it is yet. And I'm comfortable with not knowing initially why I'm being drawn to something. I trust that sooner or later I will have a reason why I've been collecting these things.
I am a Gardnerian, is primarily as I identify, although I have been taught fairy for a good number of years, and my personal resonance would probably be with those gods that are reverenced by the craft, whether it be Gardnerian or Georgian or traditional, as some people are calling it. So the horn god in his forms would probably be one that's near and dear, and the goddess in all of her forms. So, but you know, there's always a big call out to Ganesh.